Hello, Internet. Mike Bertolini here, and I'm playing Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. Now, I promised that I would do a short little bonus episode, sort of the quick, me being a stupid vampire sort of episode. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to play through and sort of do the worst options possible, even though it's really not going to be necessary. Okay, so jump right on into this. Decide what his name is. I'm not going to name him Bad Vampire, but he's going to be a Bruja. And he's going to be a douche. Alright, let's get going. This is how it begins. The music is pounding and your pulse is keeping pace. This is one of those nights that makes you feel alive, even though it started with you feeling dead. First came the messy breakup, then the realization you have nobody to talk to about it and about how much it sucked. Still, you decided to roll with the punches. One Facebook search for local events later and you found just the thing for your malaise. Short subway ride and you find yourself at the club just outside Dumbo. Not a fancy one, mind you, more like a slightly refurbished warehouse. But hey, at least the drinks are cheap. The DJ seems to really know his shit too, alternating between cutting-edge industrial techno and classic Detroit crowd pleasers, expertly filling out everyone's mood. An hour passes, then two. Usually you'd feel awkward coming to a place like this alone, but tonight you find something soothing in joining the crowd, blending in, even as you allow the beat to take over. Sweat, yours, other people's, soaks through your shirt and pants in a matter of minutes. A thought pops into your head. From the outside, the fully packed club must seem like a stuffy, smelly nightmare. But here, in the thick of it, it becomes exhilarating. And you're not even on a pill tonight. There's this Latina chick whose curves are accentuated by the light dress clinging to her body, and she keeps bumping into you. Something tells you that it only seems incidental. Yeah, it's a good night. You wish it could last forever, because you know all too well what the next day holds. Waking up, getting dressed for work, the commute, the 9-to-5 grind that will make you just enough money to pay the rent and keep living your overpriced shithole of an apartment. With Jessica moving out, it will all be coming out of your own pocket. You run some quick calculations in your head and immediately come to regret that you just did. Never mind. You spot the Latina again. She is now next to another guy, hitting it off. Your chance of not going to bed alone? Gone. Just like that. Fuck. Your mood temporarily shut down, you leave the dance floor and stumble your way to the filthy bathroom. You take a look in the mirror and start to wash your face. Obsessively. Over and over again. A voice from the past echoes in your mind. I never felt like this with anyone. Seriously, I mean it. I feel like all of my relationships up to this point were test runs. A shitty way to compensate for my low self-esteem. But this feels right. Finally. Shut up, Jess. This was the craziest fucking day of my life. God, I need a smoke. Pass me a light. What do you mean, cops took the lighter? There's one in your mouth. Just shut the hell up. This is not you. Not anymore. Oh, fuck off. This is so like you. Acting like some sort of Clint Eastwood wannabe when I really, really need you to open up. You think you're impressing people with this tough guy act? Fuck you. I know how broken you really are. You need therapy. Yeah, now that sounds like the Jessica of today. You raise your head and look in the mirror. You try to smile, but all you can muster is a self-pitying grin. And there she is, the Latina from before. She says you look like you need a drink. You hesitate for a second or two, then blurt out a surprisingly enthusiastic, yeah. You start to talk. It quickly becomes evident that she's into politics, and you're eager to please. You might be a corporate drone, but you spend a lot of evenings reading history. Actual theory, not bastardized Twitter cliff notes. Organizing for all manners of causes online. The status quo sucks. There must be something better. She agrees. You seem to subscribe to the same progressive political theories, have compatible ideas about the DSA's missteps, even watch the same YouTube channels. Your goals are aligned. She's a bit more radical than you'd have guessed. You attended a few rallies, been to a few protests, but this girl sounds like she broke her fair share of phases and kicked more than a couple of cops in the nuts over the course of her activist career. Her zeal is infectious. She taps into pent-up anger that you didn't know you had. The noisy club stops working for you both, so you hit the streets. Just as you're leaving, the DJ starts playing All the Things She Said by Tattoo. Of course, you chuckle to yourself. Try not to slip into a bad headspace. She chuckles along with you. It's chilly outside. But soon enough, you find yourself too invested in listening to the girl's voice to care about anything else. You realize you've been holding hands for a while. The subway car is empty, save for a stoic middle-aged couple and a drunk staring intently at his own feet. Plenty of room to stretch out, and yet she sits right next to you. You can feel her thigh pressing into yours, her breath on the side of your neck. Maybe it's the booze talking, but you distinctly hear your voice asking you if she'd like to crash at your place. I've got a better idea, she says. At this point, you're down for anything, as long as it lets you spend just a few more minutes with her. She takes you to a sleazy motel in the Bronx, trading a few words with the balding, tired-looking guy at the front desk. He hands her a key. So holding your hand, the woman leads you up the stairs. The room you end up in is almost comically stereotypical, complete with flaking paint and a sticky floor. Not that it matters, though. The moment she steps through the door, she's on you. You try to take the lead, but she's having none of it. Before you know it, you feel the rickety beds pressing against your back. It's sloppy, fun, and fierce. Not once does she lose the initiative. Your hands reach under her t-shirt. Strange, it didn't look like she was cold outside, but now her skin feels eerily cool. As if sensing your confusion, she slaps your hand off her. She kisses your neck. You are overwhelmed by the sensation. Darkness. The taste of liquid fire and smoke on your tongue. Her voice saying, "Sorry, kid. I did what I had to do to leave this city in one piece. But don't worry. My blood and your principles, you're going to do just fine." She slams the motel room door behind as she leaves. You lie helpless on the soiled, pungent mattress for some time. Minutes, hours, before you can even focus enough and try to piece together your evening. And it hits you. The big hunger. It grips you by the throat and makes your inside shrivel in terror. It's an all-encompassing emptiness that throws you on all fours. You crawl for a while, squirm on the floor in sundering pain, and jump to your feet and bust out the door. You black out. This isn't the room you saw when you last closed your eyes. Somebody curses at you. A small, naked, buff dude holding a short leather whip. Wow, what a goofy motherfucker. He throws a punch. He yells out several slurs. He hits you in the jaw. You black out again. The guy isn't moving anymore. There's blood on his neck. There's blood on his arms. There's blood on the floor. There's blood everywhere. Wow, whoever did this is one sick puppy. You realize you're sitting on top of his corpse. You hear a whimper. Someone else is in there. A woman. Her arms are tied to the bed frame. Her eyes mask over her face. Red marks on her back. This time, you see it happen. You want to stop, but you can't. She almost manages to get a scream out, but it dies in her throat as you bite into the side of her neck. You drink. Blood. You're drinking blood. You can swear you feel her life force escaping her body, entering yours. Suddenly terrified, you tear away from her. She's not moving, but she's breathing. There's barely a mark on her neck. The guy on the floor, though. You double over in a spasm, realizing what you did. You feel like throwing up, but can only gag. Panic sets in as another realization dawns on you. Your heart is not beating. You put your fingers to your wrist, but feel no pulse. Same thing on the neck. Nothing. There is no breath coming out of your mouth. You have to get out. Get someone to call an ambulance, for yourself at least. Probably too late for the dude on the floor. Did you really kill him? What a mess. You look up. The door of the room is ajar. A tall, handsome, broad-shouldered man fills the entire frame. He brushes an imaginary speck of dirt off his perfectly tailored suit. Out of the way, I gotta call for help. The call's been made. I'm the help. He surveys the room, not moving an inch from where he's standing. He shakes his head in mock concern. Murder, assault, that's 25 to life if you're lucky. Since you're not, it's a death sentence. He takes a glance at his expensive-looking watch. Lucky for you, it's been a slow night. Otherwise, I might not have gotten here in time. Come on, the sun comes up in a few hours. You don't want to be around here when it does. Fuck you, man. I'm not going anywhere with you. An angry scowl appears on his face. Language, whelp. The man approaches you and starts talking. His tone remains unnaturally calm. Oddly enough, you find it both soothing and slightly unnerving. Now listen to me. I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you. Going by experience, they tend to fall into two categories. First, they are the smart ones who carefully obey my every word and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them where they need to be, safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on, the wise guys who tried to contact somebody, secretly and without permission. Troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, most of them never reached their destination at all. His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given this speech before, likely dozens of times. So you see, while I generally consider myself pretty smart, I'm also a Mets fan. It's my one true weakness. And that inspired me to come up with a three-strike system when dealing with pups like you. Get on my nerves once or twice, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. But cross me 3 times and you're out. No excuses, No forgiveness, no mercy. As he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually he leans in, deliberately invading your personal space. You realize it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. 3 strikes and you're out. Say, I understand, sir, now. I've never been too eager to bend the knee to anyone, but this is something else. The man's very presence instills a primal fear in your heart. With all due respect, sir, go fuck yourself. Strike 2, and watch the language, whelp. Moving on, is there anyone you want me to inform of your current situation? Tell them you're alright. He flashes his fangs briefly, and for some reason, the sight sends a chill down your spine. There's something very wrong about him. Someone claws it to you? Jessica, my ex-girlfriend. She kinda hates my guts, but yeah, I suppose it would be her. The stranger gives you a puzzled look and decides to prod further. The closest person in your life hates your guts. This time, something resembling a look of pity. He turns his eyes to the corpse on the floor. When it rains, it pours, I suppose. Well, if you'd like to ruin her day and let her know that you're alright, give me her phone number. I'll have someone take care of it. Discreetly, of course. You hand him your smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you. This will be useful in illustrating my next point. Instead of giving your phone back, the man hands it in his pocket. From this point on, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up under. You'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anyone know you're still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over both of you and them. He interrupts his monotone recitation and stares deeply into your eyes. So unless you want your girlfriend to end up at the bottom of the Hudson, I suggest you cooperate. He probably displays his fangs again. You've put Jess in danger. God damn it. I can only hope that you care for her enough to not do anything selfish. His words are meant to imply otherwise, but by now, it's obvious. He hates your guts as much as you hate his. He's itching for a fight and you're almost willing to oblige. Alright, I think that's enough lecturing for today. We're on a bit of a schedule here. Now, I don't need to hurt you, but I can do so in the blink of an eye. Just so that we're clear, I have the authority to end you right here, right now. This is not an idle threat. So, are you going to play along, or do you have to do it the hard way? You throw a punch, hoping to stagger him and run out of the room. You can see it coming a mile away. His hand shoots up and grabs you by the wrist. Damn, he's strong. You really shouldn't have done that. Let go of me, just leave me the fuck alone, you fucking asshole. I said language. You feel the bones in your wrist crack under the man's iron grip. You yelp in pain, feeling the arm snap like it was being crushed in a vice. He's not human, he's not human, he's not human, he's not human, he's not human. You know what? I don't care anymore. I count that to strike 3. For a split second, it all becomes a blur. Suddenly, you feel a sharp pain in your chest. You realize you can't move a muscle. The man throws you over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes and carries you out of the room. You can only see snippets, zoning in and out. No one stops the man as he carries your helpless body out of the building and throws you in the back of a black car. You drift out of consciousness. Everything goes dark again. An endless void of nothingness. Endless void of nothingness. An endless void of nothingness. Suddenly, a wet squelch-like sound rings out in your ears. Then your chest explodes with an excruciating ache. Disembodied, you find yourself being slowly entrapped by horrifying dead flesh. Then, resurrection. You suck air through your teeth as you wake, hoping this was all a nightmare. The gas doesn't bring you any comfort, and you quickly realize it's nothing more than a residual instinct. You don't actually breathe in nor out, and your heart is as still as it was before. Sight comes back to you as you focus on the features of an unfamiliar room. No windows, just a simple bed, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, a small humming fridge, and a rattling AC fan on the wall. You notice claw marks on the inner side of the entrance door. Rise and shine, fledgling. You've got places to be. Startled by the sound of the stranger's voice. There he is, standing in the doorway expectantly. His suit is immaculate as yesterday, but his presence strikes you as even more malevolent than before. You remember the last thing you felt while looking at his face, the bones of your hand being crushed to an oozing pulp. You look at your fingers, but they're almost fully mended, just a bit of bruising. Is your mind playing tricks on you? What did you do to me? He recites his answer monotonously. I fulfilled my sacred duty as judge, jury, and executioner. You went against my rules. I meted out punishment. The man glances at his watch and turns his eyes to you again. You're expected. Get in the car. You have more questions? When I'm talking to you, you get the answers. Probably more than you're ready to handle. I don't fucking care about your answers. I want out. Blink of an eye later, he stands right next to you. His hand is fully outstretched. Your neck is so twisted someone could think it's broken. You barely keep your balance, taking a few steps backwards. This was, without a doubt, the strongest slap in the face you would ever receive. Keep your temper tantrum at bay, whelp. I've taken care of you once before. I will do so again if I have to. Enough is enough. Are you getting in the car, or are you really, really willing to risk a fourth strike in this match? You're not about to give up this easily. Putting all your strength into it, you ram the stranger with your shoulder. That was the plan, at least. In the blink of an eye, what seems to be an easy target is out of your path. You stumble and need to grab the car to stabilize yourself. Shameful display. You start behaving, or do you need to put a stake through your heart again? Stake? Heart? You look down, your clothes are ripped around your sternum, you touch your chest. You realize there's a gaping hole there. You can feel your broken ribs and the flesh around them. The sight is both nauseatingly morbid and utterly mesmerizing. You'll have plenty of time to get used to this sight down our way. Right now I need you to listen closely, as this is the last time I'll repeat myself tonight. You can either come with me willingly or stay in the back of the car. But make sure to tell my superior which option you picked. I'll tell you right now, she will not like the latter. Choose carefully. This better not be some bullshit. Quit your yapping and get in the car. The hole in your chest comes into view again as you near the car, the black windows reflecting the ruin around your sternum. This time it doesn't shock you as much as you expect it to. It's another part of a spectacle you almost feel wholly dissociated from. No breath, no heartbeat, and now, gaping wound with no blood coming out of it. It all makes sense in some perverse way. If you state, you start touching it like with somebody else's body. You sit down in the back and the door is locked behind you. You drive in silence for a while. You keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets or landmarks, though they're blackened windows, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproofed, so all you hear is a bit of humming traffic in the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. Check the door handle. Yeah, the door is locked all right. A piece of dark glass separating in the front of the car looks sturdy too. There's nothing left to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize now that you're hungry? No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. So you need to start somewhere in your abdomen and spread to your chest, throat, and back of your head. After a while, the need transforms to an overwhelming wave of anger. You clench your fists and jaws. You kick the wall that divides you and the driver. You feel like screaming. Fuck! Watch your profanity, fledgling. Keep your impotent rage in check or else I'll do it for you. Impotent? Just you watch, bastard. You kick to the wall again, stronger this time. You hear something crack. Is that a dent? The car comes to a stop. My patience is wearing thin, fledgling. One last chance. Settle down. No, fuck you, I had enough of this bullshit. I'm not a fucking child on a road trip to be told to settle down wherever the fuck a fledgling is. He scoffs. I see you're having trouble controlling yourself. I can put that spike back inside and make you a nice little behaved mannequin again. Is that what you want? Let me glare at him in response. Good. He starts the engine again. You feel exhausted. The anger that you erupted with is now just a smoldering fire. But your hunger remains. It takes another 20 or so minutes to get to your destination. The door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe. After me. No sudden movements, please. You approach a nice-looking building that houses a two-story gallery called the Art Hole. Two large men in suits flank the door on both sides. You give your companion a nod as you approach. Prompted by the strangers guiding you, you walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour, to say the least. About 2 dozen faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guests' attention. Visitors are well dressed, for the most part, but it's unclear what they've gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are buried. You see open contempt on a few faces and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you, as if wishing to appraise your worth. The last time you felt like this was at your previous job interview. It's like being in a piece of livestock, inspected from all sides for an imperfection. So your wage could be haggled down. It was dehumanizing. You made feel dirty. When they called you the next day to offer you the job, you declined. Even when you're nobody, you become even less if you trade away your dignity for a paycheck. The memory makes you feel warmer inside even now, although the state of your bank account never did. Good evening, Kadir. And to you, child. The noble cold voice takes you out of your head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery, crowd of strangers, you being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Excuse me, what? The Prince of New York City, Helene Panhard, child of Michaela, is addressing you, whelp. My sheriff, this harshness is unnecessary. This fledgling has every right to be confused. She is somewhat plain-looking and doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people, that much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction to unlife was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. Wait, I'm confused. What are you saying? I think it shall become clear momentarily. You are pushed headfirst into a world you have not realized the existence of. But before you can partake in it, there needs to be a trial. You are about to be judged by the court in New York City. Kadir, please tell us how you found this fledgling and what happened on your way here. Court. Prince? Is this some kind of secret society make-believe? A trusted informant who has chosen to remain anonymous at this time tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remains in their place. The hunger made him savage, a prostitute and his client in a Bronx brothel belonging to one of the ministry. I have already spoken to Senate's Creek about this, and make sure it'll blow over. The fledgling proved to have quite the nerve and an unruly tongue. Could be expecting this young kid with instincts got the better of him, and I had used force for him to comply, as evidenced by the damage to his garments. You can hear somebody chuckle. A few guests glance at the hole in your t-shirt. You realize the damage to your chest is almost gone, as if mended on its own. That first lesson was not enough, apparently. When he came to retrieve this fledgling tonight, he still attempted to resist. Fortunately, he saw how futile his attempt was and decided to join me of his own volition. The drive here was somewhat eventful. I have a bit of damage to my car's upholstery to get fixed. Thankfully, His young pup managed to control his anger before I had to intervene. The story reminds with us arriving at Elysium tonight. All eyes are on you again. You take a special interest in one of the faces. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she, you wonder? Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behavior and will take into consideration later. She turns her attention to you. First, there's the matter of your sire, the person who brought you where Kadir picked you up from last night. Who were they? Why does it matter? They're gone, right? They left me there. They let me kill a bystander. They have broken our laws and made you an unwilling accessory to their crime. If you help us identify them, it will go a long way towards earning our trust. And believe me, you will need it. Something in her voice makes you trust her. You realize there's no reason to oppose her, none at all, and you hear yourself speak. A Latin woman. Very radical, unless she convincingly lied to me. She was special, extraordinary. She had fire, conviction, temper. She could seduce me. Easily, in fact. Made me think she wanted me. I fell for it, and now I'm here. You stop yourself from saying more, then realize there's really not much more to talk about. A nagging thought enters your mind. How did this prince persuade you with such ease? Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not. Or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. I told you what I know. Can I go now? No, definitely not. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am ready to fulfill my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my counsel on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom, and a handful of people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all that talk with traditions and councils was when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie? Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir. We all know what the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stay in your hands tonight after all. Her words grab his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. I'll go get my sword. He steps out of the room the way you came, and you are left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow you. Well then, fledgling, you are in quite the pickle. What the hell is with this party for rich sickos? It's like something straight out of a conspiracy theory. Everyone here knows a thing or two about conspiracies, but we don't have time to discuss those right now. So I'll stick to explaining what concerns you most directly. Last night, you became a vampire. Wait, what? Oh yes, I'm well aware how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reasons why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains. The beings called vampires, you're looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. It's not the right thickness, not the right color either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night. There's no denying it. Your breathing has not returned. Your heart remains still. A vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to the conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voices came saying, what the fuck, on repeat. You're surprised. This is often and always plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If you do nothing, you will be cut down, sure as day follows night. I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out. Under one condition. I'll take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight, and Kadir's complaints about your behavior won't influence her judgment. This society values docility. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. I'm not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences. What happens if I refuse? I believe I know what the prince will ordain. I'm certain Kadir will do his duty. You, my poor fledgling, will die. For good this time. With me, there's a chance you will not. I can be your guide in this new reality. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her counselor are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well and starts walking towards you. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would have looked vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of New York Camarilla gathered here tonight. I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. Their behavior since embrace has been disagreeable, and that does not bode well for them becoming a valuable member of our society. You are all keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. As our trusted sheriff pointed out, there can be only one course of action. Although I acknowledge some of my counsel's divergent opinions on this. She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a somewhat plainly dressed, shy-looking man, whose skin has a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is the progeny who shall be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir? You hear a scraping sound and see that the sheriff's unsheathed his curved sword. It is beautifully detailed blade which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you notice the hint of sadness in his countenance, and it quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. He's out to bat. You will not get another chance to speak up. Last chance. Sophie's gazed, the red-haired woman is disappointed after realizing you're not about to speak up. Last chance. The eyes of the crowd focus on you. You know what's coming. You are waiting for it excitedly. Last chance. The sheriff's ridiculous sword raised above you, menacing, inevitable. Last chance, last chance, last chance. Run. It's a desperate, ugly, panicked sprint. In a split second, the world around you spins. You tumble awkwardly. You hear gasps. The crowd divides into those who pretend to be disgusted by the sight and those who take it in unabashedly. There, on the floor, 2 legs cut off cleanly above the knees. Here, where you're lying on the ground, the stumps ended around the middle of your thighs. You want to scream, but Kadir's oriental blade cuts through your vocal cords before they make any sound. Darkness, for good this time. Game over. I promised you a short, sort of dumb vampire episode, and that's what I delivered. If you like content like this, or me playing through games to my own detriment, remember to like and subscribe. That little bell icon. All right, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.